Mic check. Mic chickadee check. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be starting very, very soon. 2 minutes. Stay tuned, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? I've been waiting all week for this. Can you believe it? Sitting in the same spot, drotting, just waiting here for you. Welcome to the chat. I have a very, very special guest. You're not going to believe it, but it is the sweet Jolene. Jolene, what's going on? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever the hell we're at. How are you?
I am wonderful. More blessed than I probably should be.
I like to hear that. I like to hear that. Yeah, it's seriously, it's so nice to have you on the show. I know you've been an avid listener and you've been learning so fast in the chat. We love seeing you in there. We love having a woman's point of view in here, and it's really nice because for a little bit there, the women were overtaking the men in our Discord. So it's nice to have a woman's point of view. It's nice to have you in here. So welcome to the live show, Jolene. I hope you're pumped.
I'm very pumped. And, you know, Dave, you said for a little bit the women were overtaking. Hang on, buddy, because here we come.
Hell yeah, I like to hear that. Oh, man, this is going to be great, guys. We have an amazing show for you tonight. We already got 11 of you in here. What's going on? Who do we got? Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator live, has joined us today. Once again, thank you so much. Mike and Music, good? Hell yeah, sounds good. Norman Conklin, always in the building. Predator's already in. Predator, what the heck, dude? You're usually showing up a little late. He said that tune is something reminiscent. Yeah, Christopher Cross, Sailing. I'll have to look that up when I get back. Mama's in the house. Mama! What's going on, Mama? It's good to see ya. I'm glad you're here. Jimmy Bright, good evening, everyone. I see you with like a monocle and a top hat when you say that. Good evening, everyone. Beef Stewie in the building, and Jimmy Bright says, hello, Jolene. Listen up, guys, before I even start. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. You know the deal. If you're watching this at a later time, go down to the description down below, click that link tree. We got everything on there. We have our Facebook group, which is moderated by yours truly, Sweet Jolene, and Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator live. You will not get a better Facebook group than that right there. They're bringing up the best, the absolute best content in there. He's bringing up I mean, 11-year bull run. I'm learning things from that Facebook group, and I absolutely love what they're doing out there. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe for them as well. Oh, look at, we got Zamora in the building. Marwa, what's going on? Robert Tainch. I'm still working on that last name, brother, but I'm going to get it. We have an awesome show for you guys. We are going to go through the S&P 500, the IWM, the QQQs, the VIX Volatility Index. We're going to go over much, much more. But I'm telling you, the biggest thing that we have tonight, drum roll please. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Papa Powell. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on Friday, another special guest. Maybe not as sweet as Jolene, but old Papa Powell will be here on Friday. And yes, before you ask, calm down. We're going to be live. Yes, we will be live before 10 a.m. He talks at 10. We will be on before 10 a.m. to ensure that we have an amazing show ready and raring to go just for yours truly. Yours truly? Just for you. From yours truly. Anyway, we have a vote on the poll before we get started. How do you trade? We have 0% saying investing only, 33% swing trading only, and 67% say you do a blend of 2 or more of the above. That's great. That's good to hear. I actually do a blend myself as investing and swing trading. Sometimes I do a little day trading, but just like day drinking, it's never really a good idea. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into this. Sometimes it's just, what am I talking about, right? But anyway, some people might disagree with me on that last one. What about you, Jolene?
I don't think so, Dave.
No? Okay. You don't do any day drinking, do you, Jolene?
No drinking for me.
I didn't think so. Yeah, neither do I. But I figured I'd ask. We'll just put you on blast right here, right now. All right. We got the S&P 500. Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about the S&P 500, and you know I am a huge fan of the IBD investors. What do they focus on? Well, William O'Neill, the man himself, the myth, the legend, in this beautiful stock that I make a recommendation that everybody reads. How to Make Money in Stocks is a beautiful book, and one of the main things that they talk about is being in well-rounded stocks, the relative strength stocks, the stocks that are in. But first, what do we need to do? Make sure we're in a good, positive market. And right now, we are in that positive market. Yes, just last week, I was telling you, we are not risk on. And you might look at this and say, well, look at all of this that you missed. Well, if we look back here, guys, if we look back here, we could have bought the dip. We could have bought the dip here. We could have bought the dip here. The dip is not nice when it keeps on dipping, okay? That is no way to invest, okay? Now, if it's long-term investing, which 0% of you that have voted on this poll are doing, that is not the way we are trying to trade. If we are swing trading or day trading, we want to focus on these stocks when we are in a relative bull market. Right now, we are in that bull market. We are above all moving averages, and not to mention, if you use the exponentials like I do on the 10 and 21-day moving average, some people like to look at this beautiful golden cross right here. What's the golden cross? Well, when the golden cross crosses the 10 over the 20, you'll see a failing market. When the golden cross crosses over the 20 heading to the north side, you'll see a positive expected move. This right here, just so you guys know, a V-shaped bottom is less controllable than a rounded bottom, okay? I know a lot of us like those rounded bottoms. This is a V-shaped bottom. This is not as healthy, okay? There's a lot of negative expectations out there, but I always tell you, it pays to be positive. There's many, many reasons why I bring this up, and one of the resources that I put in our resources in the Discord is this beautiful chart. Let me bring this up in front of you. This is why I always say it pays to be positive, guys, because it's not very often that a bear market lasts. And if it does last, it's not for very long. These bull markets last much, much longer, as was posted in our Facebook group that is ran by Dan Bob, Dan the Greatest Moderator Live, and our sweet Jolene, who is present with us today. That 11-year bull market, this could be the next one. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying that we aren't going to head into a recession. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is it pays to be positive, guys. It pays to be positive. And I was not positive, and you will not hear me be very positive when we're below a 21-day moving average. Okay? I'm very cautious. I'm very risk off. Of course, I'm positive and I'm expecting that the US market will adapt and overcome like it has the past 100 years. The S&P 500, we are now in a good spot. What do you think about all that, Jolene? What do you think about that
Still
S&P
a little
500
cautious.
being? Yeah, very, very cautious below that
I'm
21-day moving average, right?
Yeah, I'm still really cautious. This all kind of caught me by surprise. I'm very new. And so, everybody was moving their money and keeping it safe. And I found I didn't have many options where my money was to move it.
Sure.
Scared the heck out of me,
Absolutely.
And so I'm very cautious. I was able to move in time, but it's not going back, and certainly not where it was.
Sure, sure. And you'll see that too, a lot of this too, and that's why we look at the sectors. We want to see that sector rotation. And right now you're seeing it in utilities, you're seeing it in real estate, you're seeing it continue in healthcare, you're seeing it in consumer staples, which are all defensive areas, guys. It's all defensive areas, which is pretty kind of scary, right? People are doing this, they're parking their money in these areas because they are worried about a recession. Now, the overall market is ran by, the big monster stocks, the Mag 7 stocks. Now, I like to call them Mag 6 because your Teslas aren't doing very well. But if we look at the overall market,
what happened to Uncle Tesla?
That's a good question. I don't know what's happening with
Uncle Tesla.
I really think the majority of it is his earnings expectancy. A lot of people aren't keeping up with their cars. They were in such high demand for so long. And then, I really think they're just digesting a lot of these, Jolene. If you look at Uncle Tesla, he's been on a drunken rampage for quite some time. He needs to sit in the drunk tank for a while. And I don't know why I've had 2 alcohol references, but here we go. Yeah, he's just chilling on the sideline. Am I
driving you to drink?
Maybe I do maybe I have a little sip Shawana here and there. No, yeah, it's been a long time since I drank. It's not for me, but Uncle Tesla, I tell you what, he had quite a few. He said, hold my beer, and he just rip tater chip to the north side. And we love to see it. If you were a part of it, congratulations to you. My hat's off. But just like my grandma says, anything below a 200-day moving average, we are keeping our hands off of. And for the majority of this pullback, it has been below that 200-day moving average, and we just bounced back off of it again. So will it continue to ride to the north side? I think probably we're keeping these longer new higher lows, but I don't think this thing is going to be the rip tater chip like we used to see. I think now it's going to be a slow and go, a big boat of a stock that's going to have a slow turnaround. Okay, but with the rest of the Mag 7 stocks, if we look at Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, you guys have to, and Meta, you have to understand that this is what runs the market. Amazon as well. They run the market. If these stocks aren't going to do well, the market's not going to do well. If these stocks don't continue to climb higher, the rest of the rotation in the stocks is going to be more defensive. And right now, your big guys, your big boats that are out there that are doing their investment, specifically Berkshire Hathaway, they have reduced most of their share size in Apple, and Apple is the biggest contender in the market. When you have a big Buffett selling most of his Apple stocks, it shows that a lot of these over-evaluations might not continue. And it makes investors a little nervous, because if we don't continue to have proper earnings and over accumulative of net income, right? If we aren't over exceeding our expectations, it's already been baked in that these Mag 7 stocks have to do well. So even the slightest slip up, you're going to see the market pull back and pull back hard. So when we look at the S&P 500 right now, we are risk on, but just keep in mind, we have some we have the economic calendar that we need to take a look at very, very soon. So with the S&P 500 being where it's at, it's looking good. Let's take a look at the QQQs. Now, this is the tech heavy. Remember, this led us to the north side on the initial bull run back in 2023, was it? 2023, when we first started this bull run, all the way back here. Let me just go ahead and do this. It started us off on our bull run, October of 2023, and then when we had that beautiful pullback that bloody 6-day sell-off. We popped right back up. We could even go back to the original, which was October 2022, okay? But the tech heavy, the QQQs, is what led this. Then it also is what led us to the downside. It's just getting over that 50-day moving average. So you can see tech is just a little behind. But if we look at the small caps, you can see we're even, well, actually, it's actually doing fairly well. They're actually above all their moving averages currently. So not what I actually expected. So this is nice. The only issue is we are at an area of resistance. As we look all the way back here, you can see I've marked out that 216 area. That is also the area of support. When we broke above it, we showed support. So it's very, very key level. This 215 to 220 area is a very key level for the IWM, or the Russell 2000, the small cap stocks, to get over. So make sure you guys stay very, very attentive in this area for the IWM. Now, if we go back,
I remember when we were discussing that IWM and watching it in that 215, 216 area, and when it went up and when it hit that 220, you know, we were so excited about that.
Oh yeah, it was
I was surprised to see it fall.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Well,
I mean, would that be a normal response with all of the market falling?
Sure. So it wasn't a normal response for it to rip up to the north side, because if you remember, the overall market was actually pulling back at the time, right, or trading sideways at the time that it reacted to the north side. So when this happened back in July, we started considering this like the great rotation, where all the things in the Mag 7 were starting to come off. They were coming out of the QQQs in the tech heavy, and they started going into the small caps. Because if you look at the small caps, and by the way, Jolene, that is an amazing question. I'm really glad that you brought that up. But the small caps has been just trading sideways for a very, very long time, since 2021. So here was our pandemic sell-off, our big run-up, our sideways, and then after it came down with the rest of the market, which, by the way, it's been moving as a lagger for as long as I can remember, since the pandemic. So the rest of the market moves up, the IWM moved up. It trades sideways, the rest of the market fell down. This actually shot up and then followed. So it was very odd. Then it trades sideways. Well, the overall market has been going up and reaching new highs every week. It's been reaching those new highs, and the IWM just traded sideways. Then it perked up and it held above that $200 area that we talked about for so long. It held that, and then when the overall market once again pulled up, you know, I'm kind of glad you're bringing this up, because it kind of looks like this right here. It really does. Like, you get this long base where it trades sideways. It makes this pop, this little turtle head over top of everything, and then a huge sell-off. Now, this thing trades sideways for a very long time while the overall market continues to head higher, just like it did here, and then it's having this little pop and a big pullback. Might this be the sign of something for a further sell-off? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I will say is this was surprising. This pullback was not so surprising. Because if you really think, what was surprising though is it didn't pull back more than this. So it's still showing strength, because if you look at the overall market, it really tanked. A lot of it went down to the 200-day moving average, and this being such a lagger and trading sideways, it came back down to its 200-day moving average, but it did not pull back as far as the rest of the ETF. So I wouldn't say the pullback was
it looks like it came down to an area of support or resistance, right?
Absolutely, yeah. This trend line that we've drawn out a few weeks ago, it came down and touched that support, as well as the 200-day moving average as support as well. So yeah, very good point there. So it did find support. It is heading back up to the north side, and you know, all we can do is hope for the best on this thing. I have not called my financial advisor yet. But this is the only thing that I have in my long-term investing portfolio is this. So, yeah, so the IWM is looking pretty nice. It is looking pretty nice relative to the rest of the overall market. Okay. Let's take a look at the VIX Volatility Index. So guys, if you remember, this thing reached one of the record highs in the past years. Okay. The last time it got up this high was the pandemic. The pandemic, it did go up a little bit higher, but this was very nerve-wracking. A lot of this had to do with that Japanese carry trade, where you're borrowing the Japanese dollar for almost 0%, and then you're reinvesting in it in something like a 5% yield, or 5%. You're making 5% elsewhere, whether it's in whatever asset in a different country. You pick your asset. If it pays greater than it does to borrow, that is your carry trade with the Japanese yen. Okay. Now everybody, because the Japanese decided to raise interest rates, it was a huge sell-off, and it scared the market, along with recession fears and just all these different things coming on. I think I told you guys when this happened that I have an older gentleman. Shout out to you, brother. You know exactly who you are, because I told you I was going to talk about you. Who this is the only time he invests. It's the only time he invests, and when he invests, he only buys in the Mag 7 stocks, or the overall leading tech stocks. And so he bought up Amazon, Nvidia, Google. He bought up a ton of stocks when we were up here in the 50s. Okay. And I was like, yeah, but it could keep going up. And he goes, yeah, it might go up, but he doesn't care, because eventually it's going to come back down. So that's how he trades. He trades off the VIX volatility index. Personally, I don't. I wait for setups, and we're going to go over those setups very, very soon. All right. Do we have any questions over that, guys? We got quite a few people in here today. What's going on, guys? It's good to see you. Dan Bob Dan Burke is taking Uncle Tesla's spot in the Mag 7. Is that true, Dan Bob? Is that true? I want to know, Dan Bob. Where the hell did you hear that? Send me that piece of news. I'd like to read that. Old Berkshire Hathaway is going to take over Uncle Tesla's spot in the Mag 7. I think not Zuckerberg. What's his name? Elon Musk. Elon Musk is gonna he's gonna pull some jiu-jitsu out on the old man.
Some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he does. Well, actually, no. Oh my gosh, Musk doesn't do jiu-jitsu, but Zuckerberg actually does do. Could you imagine?
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be great. Oh man, that fight should happen though. That was actually in the works, I think. Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. They said that they were going to fight. Yeah, they said that they were going to fight. It was so funny. The referee should be the Berkshire Hathaway. I'm having a brain fart. Help me out, Jolene. Save me, Jolene. Oh man.
Let's just have him be Warren Buffett.
That's it. Warren Buffett. Thank you. But all right, guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go over the economic calendar, and then, of course, eventually we will get into earnings will be after that, and then we will go into my watch list. I have a beautiful watch list for you today, so I hope you guys pay attention. Now, economic calendar, the two main things that we want to focus on here is the initial jobless claims that comes out on Thursday, August 22nd. It's very, very important that you guys focus on this, because the whole thing about everything, we were so focused on inflation, but Papa Powell himself has said inflation isn't what he is worried about now. He's even changed his mind. He's not so much worried about a digital attack on the financial system. He's more worried now at getting that balance right between the jobs, I'm having some brain farts today, the jobs, keeping everyone's job, and trying to balance keeping the jobs and the overall inflation down. So he wants to keep inflation down and jobs up. Okay, so if the initial jobless claims come out and they're much, much higher than expected. So right now, the previous month was 227,000. The forecast is 233,000, as you can see here. If we get a high reading like we did, I think it was 2 weeks ago, if we get it in like the 250s, that's going to look really, really bad. And that's going to change the CME Fed tool rate, because right now we are at a 75% chance. If you guys look right here, 75% chance is showing that we're going to have a quarter of a basis point. I personally think the S&P 500 has already baked this in. This is already baked in. Jolene, do you know what baked in means?
I am gonna take a guess and say it has already absorbed that.
Yes, it's already absorbed this news. So the market is always looking forward, as you
Old
know,
news.
Jolene. Yeah, exactly. It's already baking it in. Now if the initial jobless claims comes out and it's much higher than expected, meaning more people are filing for unemployment, that is not baked in. Some of it might be baked in, but if we get a much higher reading, that is going to force old Papa Powell on Friday to probably say something on the lines of to be preemptive, to further reduce the risk of more jobs being taken from the American people. We might have to take action sooner, or take a bigger cut. He won't come out and say that specifically, but that's what he means to say. And you'll see this change. You'll see this probability rate go from 75 probably down to 25, and 50 or 75 basis point cut start to show up and appear. Okay? I don't think that 50 basis point has been baked in nearly as much, but I do think if we don't slowly come off and things don't go as planned, we're not going to continue higher. I think if we get a surprise, it's going to be a sell the news event, because people are going to start expecting a recession. A recession fear is going to sell this market off, okay? Those are my thoughts. They're not yours. I could be completely wrong. But when I look at these things and I see how much it changes, I guarantee you when we see this economic tool and it comes out much higher than expected, you're going to see the market react in a negative way, because we do not want to break the overall job markets, okay? If the job market starts to fail, people are going to start fearing that recession, and we don't want to fear a recession, okay? And then next up, we are going to have Fed Chair Powell speaking at 10 a.m. on Friday. Okay, now Friday's a very interesting day for him to speak. I think with him speaking, it's going to give us the whole market kind of time to digest the initial jobless claims in anticipation of Fed Chair Powell speaking. Now, this is going to be a very big day. Mark your calendars and join me. I will be on probably an hour before doing some live trading, some just kind of just chilling with you guys, because usually when Fed Chair Powell speaks, before he speaks, we get a lot of sideways range trading action. I might take a few range trades because I've been watching it over and over and over again. We get a range in the S&P 500 and a lot of the Mag 7 stocks. I might do a few range trades on very, very small share size just to kind of show you I can do some live trades. I can keep you entertained while we wait for old Papa Powell to pop out. Now, with that being said, mark your calendars. Join me, guys. And before we carry on, I have one thing I need you to do. Take a look at my screen here, if you would, please. We have our sweet, sweet guest, sweet Jolene, with us today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Nalani, for being here. Shane Loke, what's going on? Warren, yeah, thank you. I have, brain farts left and right. Zamora, what's going on? Let's see, Jimmy Bright, yeah, baby. SpaceX, spacewalk in a week or so. Thought jobless claims out 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they did. They do. They come out every 2 weeks, I do believe. I feel like it's every week. But anyway, guys, take a look at my screen here. Smash that like button, that thumb right there. Smash that thumb button. And if you haven't already, do me a favor. Consider subscribing. We put a lot of work into this. I work my ass off for this. I really, truly do. And I love it. I have a passion for this. And if you hit that subscribe button, you can see more from me and any guests that we have on the show. Maybe one day you'll be able to be a guest on the show as well. So consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button, and I greatly, greatly appreciate you guys. And if you want to do one more thing, click this more button, scroll down, and click this link tree. It's going to bring up this amazing section. We have a YouTube section. It's going to give you all this free content. We have a trading school. We also have an area where you can set up your trading platform just like myself. If you click on TradingView, you can use the same platform I do right here. It's absolutely free, and if you end up buying the Essential Plan, there's plenty more that come with it. We also have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Facebook, and a Twitter. You better believe it, baby. This boomer has got it. I might not be a boomer, but I act like it sometimes. Jolene, you are a boomer though, aren't you?
I'm just a little after the boomers.
Oh, are you? Okay, you're not gonna take that and run with it. You don't want to be the boomer?
No, I'm not gonna take it and run with it. But the thing that I would like to take and run with is really the trading school. The trading school on YouTube is really second to none. And especially when you consider the trading platform. Getting my computer set up to TradingView
Yeah.
and watching Covey, and now I'm old. I'm old. So it took me a long time. I had to stop and pause and then fix it like he said, and then go back and listen and whatnot. But
Sure.
that's really kind of a game changer, and really to follow along with you guys, but to learn on my own how to do these things. Like, I'm not one, you probably can tell, I'm not one that is like, bring me the fish so I can cook it and eat it. I'm like,
Sure.
teach me to fish because I
Yeah.
want to do it myself. Get out of
Absolutely.
my way.
I think that's why we
And
love
so
you so
that
much, Jolene, because
that really, that trading platform, it really has changed a lot for me. I can look at whatever I want to look at. That's why I got so scared when I saw where my things were, in my long-term account. I was like,
yeah.
holy snappers, what do I do now?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that testimony. I really appreciate that. We work really, really hard, Kobe and I do, on this trading school, guys. We have everything from how to set up your platform, like Jolene said, and how we trade. We play base breakouts, trend breakouts, EPs. We show you how to protect your account using risk management. We also have like really simple things like if you're very new, what are candlesticks? What is the PDT rule? We have so many different things and it's all absolutely free on here, guys. And we're always willing to help you. So if you want to join the Discord, again, everything's free. Everything that we give you is absolutely free. The only thing I ask is that like and subscribe button. Okay, so now back into the show. What are we talking about? We got over the economic calendar. We're going to go to earnings. Let's see what we have for earnings. Let's see what we got going on. Sandra McDonald says, I need to set up the TradingView platform. I'll work on it this week. Hey, Sandra, if you're not a part of the Discord, you can join. We always have a ton of questions, even after you watch it. If it's confusing, it can be pretty daunting. But yeah, join the Discord too, Sandra, and we'll be happy to help you out. It's really, really easy. And then, yeah, Dan Bob says Tuesday we have that interactive learning, so we can show you our setups. We show you awesome setups. I actually have a thing on here for some of our best setups, like RGS. We have these huge pushes up, a pullback. It creates this beautiful trend, and then it breaks out higher. This right here is a 12 risk-reward ratio, meaning you're risking 1R, whatever your risk is, and you're making 12R. So if you're risking 100, you're making 1,200. You see that? And now those are the kind of plays that we're constantly looking for, guys. So if that doesn't get you excited, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding. And hey, guys,
welcome in, Sandra. Look at Dave. I already told you.
She?
Look at the women. Look at the women.
I know.
Here we come. Here we come.
You guys are taking over. It's talking about, it's gonna be like, what's that island? Is it like the Amazonian or whatever? The Amazonian where it's like nothing but women took over and like the men are the slaves. Like you guys are gonna be like, do the charting, find the stocks. We'll let you know if they're good or not.
No. We're gonna be like, teach us, so we can learn too.
Oh, you know what? Sandra's already in our Discord. Oh, Sandra, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you were SGM 8G. I don't know what that. No, yeah, you're welcome. No problem. Yeah, no, you're right, Jolene. You guys are gonna end up taking over. I don't get it. I don't want no problems, ladies. Man. All right, guys.
We're just solutions. We're not problems. We're solutions. We're solutions headed your way.
I love it. And I've said this many, many times that women in general, if you look it up, women in general are better traders because they don't handle things the way we do. When there's a loss, they accept the loss and then they move on. Where men, we want to fight it. We want to take it head on. No, I'm not losing money today. And then they fight the stock and we lose it. We have these big inflated egos that none of us like to admit to. Where these women, it's different. It's like they think through what the issue is. Okay, I was wrong here. What can I do to learn? They don't take this role of this like, I have to win. I have to be the big macho man. No, that you take a different approach to trading and it's a lot less caveman instinct, fish brain kind of trading that men do. So it's good to have you guys here, hopefully to help keep most of us well grounded. So I really like it. I do really like it. So
and make lots of money.
Lots of money. Yep, one good trade, one good decision after the next that'll lead you to some good money. And speaking of good money, we have the best earnings out there that Dan Bob and the sweet Jolene have put together for us. So Jolene, if you could do me a beautiful favor and send me a few of those, would you please?
Well, let's start with LOW, Lowe's.
LOW. Oh, that's Lowe's. Let's take
my favorite home DIY. I get the ideas off Pinterest.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, you go on Pinterest and Lowe's is rubbing their hands together. They're like, "Oh yeah, Jolene's back on Pinterest. We're gonna make some money."
I know, and her husband's bringing the truck.
He's damn it, not again. She's on Pinterest. he's like getting your favorites across his phone. Like, no, she's back in the wood shopping again. Oh man, I love it. Okay, so
it is my favorite place. That wood shop is my favorite place.
I tell you what, if you get good with wood, you can go places. Like, people are not good at woodworking, and I've been a union carpenter for about 15 years now. I'm not even personally that good with wood because I've been just building scaffolding in the oil refineries and stuff like that. Of course, I haven't been there in years, but I really wish I would have taken some time out to learn how to work with my hands a little bit better. Now, I have a huge workshop out back in my barn that I do not utilize nearly as much. Maybe I should download Pinterest, which I will not. It's only a joke. But maybe I should download Pinterest myself and do some DIYs or whatever the hell they're called for the wife. Maybe I'll build her a bench or something, but yeah. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, LOW, Lowe's Company. I see all the love in the chat. I'm sending it right back at you guys. We're having an awesome time. Jolena, I'm so happy you're here. All right, so the earnings and revenue, this is coming out, let's see, when is this coming out? 2 days. Lowe's is going to be coming out. Now, we know always the average daily range is going to be a little bit lower on these bigger boats of a stock, but if we look at that, not caring, we're looking at this more on an investing, a longer term kind of look, you can see this thing has been on a constant uptrend for a very, very long time. This seems like a safer bet. Now, these are my thoughts. They're not yours. Don't take any of my investing advice. These are all your ideas. But with earnings coming out, if we can get above this area, the only thing we have to start reaching new all-time highs is that 262.50, guys. So let's keep a good close eye on LOWS, as if interest rates start to come down, if borrowing money is cheaper. Now, these are my thoughts. Correct me if you think that I'm wrong. Let me know in the chat, guys. But if interest rates start to come down, if we come down at a quarter of a rate cut, and then a few months later another quarter of the rate cut, and we slowly start coming down and start to normalize things, it's going to be a lot cheaper for people to borrow money to buy more goods to build more houses. Am I right? And we have a huge shortage for houses. Wow, I better take a little sip of water here. I'm tripping over my own tongue. We have a huge shortage.
Talking about that huge shortage,
yes.
I mean, California we have all the homeless people here.
Yeah, that's horrible.
You're welcome.
No, yeah, thank you for.
You're welcome.
My tongue was swollen up. Thank you. No, yeah, we have that huge shortage, and I think when we start to cut these rates, what is going to happen? People are going to start building more. It gives an incentive for those home builders to start building and borrowing money from the banks, and then buying from Lowe's and Home Depots and all these places that are Carter Lumber. I don't know if you guys have that out in California, but all these lumber places, you're going to see a huge growth in spending so people can start making those houses, right? So those are my thoughts.
Well, even just home improvement,
yes.
Or the ADUs and stuff like that.
That's a really good point too. Yeah, not even just home builders, but the home improvement as well. I think you're absolutely right. So very good point there. All right, Jolene, sweet Jolene.
Okay, next on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what we've been talking about a lot this week is that Kava. CAVA.
So thank you guys for bringing up Kava. Now, I know Swervo, I don't think he's in the chat today, but Swervo went and got Kava, and he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna invest all my money in Kava and blah blah blah. And we were like, why are all of a sudden you're just gonna go all in on Kava? We have earnings in 4 days, Swervo. And he's like, because I just bought Kava and it's so good. And I was like, well, send me pictures. And you know what the dude sends me? He sends in the chat 2 pictures of the food boxed up. I was like, come on, dude.
No pictures of the actual food.
Like, what are you doing,
It's like, come on, Swervo.
Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? I don't want to see aluminum foil in a bag. Like, I am way too hungry for that. Like, I'm on a 24-hour fasting. Show me the money. But yeah, Kava, we have in 4 days, guys. Now, you guys know I've been a big avocado for Kava. This thing has shown very fruitful since its IPO. It only dipped down one time, creating this huge cup with handle, taking off. I've tried multiple times trying to get into this thing. It just didn't serve me too well. You can see we had a nice trend break right here. This held the 50-day pretty well, but it wasn't perfect in my eyes. Then, of course, when we had this next area that I wanted to get into while it's holding its 10-day moving average, this area right here I was talking about, it was too close to the earnings that I could not take it. And then we had this one right here. This was a beautiful area that I really wanted to take, but it did not break out on volume. So I passed it up, and it's a good thing I did, because that is when we had that big sell-off as it's created another beautiful cup. Now, this is a big reason why I say earnings ruins everything, because if this thing creates a handle, which it is currently, and it takes off here without earnings showing up, I would be heavily invested in this cup and handle, because the average daily range is at 4.83%, showing that it is a faster mover. This is how we make money, in the average daily range being higher than anticipated. Anything higher than that 4%, I am interested in. But the real moneymaker here is the RS. RS stands for relative strength. It's at 98. It doesn't get much higher than that. This is what we are looking for, this exact thing. So let's say earnings comes out and it has a big beat, okay, and it gaps up here. I will be looking at taking this on an earnings beat, okay? Maybe not an episodic pivot. It might be if it gaps up over 10%. This thing can't be an episodic pivot because it hasn't been beaten down. But if we get an earnings continuation, or also known as an earnings drift play, because of the beat, then I would like to be a part of it. Let's say it doesn't beat and it just kind of trails around in this area and creates that handle, then I'm gonna want to have my alert set in this area, so that way I can also be a player in the game. But I will not invest in this thing or take a swing trade or a day trade, whatever, on this thing until after earnings. So we have 4 days to wait and be patient, but I'm gonna be licking my chops on this one. So thank you guys so much for bringing up Kava. I really appreciate that. Do you guys have Kava out there, Jolene?
No.
No? Have you seen Kava or heard anybody talking about Kava?
Only on the website pictures.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up Kava here, guys. We'll just bring it up. So it looks like they got grilled steak is here. Order now. What's popular? They got their steak mezzine salad, steak and feta. That looks good. Horasis.
Oh, steak and feta.
Yeah, that looks good. Horasis? I don't even know how to say half of these, but I believe it's Mediterranean food. So it's kind of like, I think people are kind of comparing it to Chipotle. It's like a Mediterranean Chipotle, which when you look at things like this, you see corn, lettuce, tomato, carrots, and then you get a little bit of a steak, a little bit of chicken. I like these because it's real food, and then it's a whole bunch of filler. So they have like Mexican joints, it's all cheap food that they can make good money on, And I think Kava is doing it right. They have where I imagine it's, you walk in, you get what you want, you pick what you want, you wait for it, you walk out. But these are all simple, simple bowls, simple wraps, nothing too crazy, not too much overhead to deal with, and then you're out the door, So I like it. I think it's great. And if you look at the overall, market, the overall restaurant business, they're all doing very, very well right now. So keep your eye on Kava, guys. I really like it. What else you got for me, Jolene?
Okay, let's go with Intuit. INTU.
All right, INTU. Let's see, INTU. So what is this? Let's read about INTU. INTU engages in the provision of business and financial engagement solutions. It operates through the following segment: small business, self-employed, customer, Credit Karma, and pro-tax. So I believe this is in the financial district as I skimmed over it a minute ago. Technology, service, and package software. And guys, software has been doing really well. The software ETF has been doing really well lately. So it's nice to see this. Now the earnings are coming out in 4 days. You can see it's on a rising 200-day moving average, above all of its moving averages currently. And I can see a very clear trend that has formed right here. It just is squeaking out just above it right here. So it's going to be interesting to see where this lands right before earnings. But if this thing can really get up and above this area right here, that might be very interesting for Intuit, because this is the area at 671, between 671 and 674, is that 676? This is the area that it has had a very hard time getting over, as it's been on an uptrend for quite some time now. Since 2023, this thing has been on an uptrend. So if it can get through this area, I think it's blue skies for it, mostly anyway, and it could have the chance to continue heading higher. So keep that on your watch list. Have you had any, do you know what Intuit is? I mean, obviously it's packaged software, but have you had to deal with Intuit at all?
A little bit when we working for the government.
Okay.
We had some Intuit.
When you were super special covert ops for the FBI, are you allowed to release this information, Jolene?
Yes, special ops. That's how I found you. It's that watch list. It's that watch list thing,
Yeah.
and and Intuit led me straight to you.
Oh no, she's here. I'm trying to find the oh, there it is. FBI, open up. That's Jolene. FBI, open up. Jolene's banging on the door.
I infiltrated.
Oh, I love it. All right, so what else do we got, Jolene? What else you got on that watch list?
Okay, let's go with PANW. So PANW.
Okay. And I think this is another
Palo Alto.
Palo Alto. This is another package software, guys. Very important that we keep an eye on this one, because tomorrow is when it comes out with earnings. It's still a slower mover at 3.21, but with earnings and an RS rating of 82, this thing could really get to moving. Now, this thing has been on an uptrend since 2023, just like Intuit. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens here, because the overall package software is doing really, really well, other than the one that just defecated all over the market. What was that one, Jolene? Can you help me remember? Oh, come on. I can't remember.
Oh gosh.
I know Chat will help me out. Help me out, Chat. Which software closed down a bunch of healthcare places?
Oh wait, I have it on my list.
Do you?
I have it on my watch list.
Okay.
Yes, of course I watch
I'm
it.
sure
What the heck is the CrowdStrike?
That's it, CrowdStrike. All right, let's see if Chat picks up. Let's see how fast they are. Yeah, CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike here, their earnings is in 10 days as well. So a lot of your packaged software, thank you, Dan Bob. A lot of your packaged software here is going to be having earnings here. So CrowdStrike is the only one that really had this big pullback and has not really recovered since. Yeah, there you go, Predator.
No, it hasn't.
Predator, you're second.
That's why I was watching it.
Yeah, because of that big pullback. Now, I'm not. A lot of people are like, oh, now's the time to buy. Now's the time to buy. They're too big to fail. Well, I just don't. I don't care, because anything below a 200-day moving average, it can go lower. It's very, very easy for this thing to continue lower. Its sentiment might pop back up for a short period of time, but it can just as easily continue to sell off, because imagine everybody that exit CrowdStrike and they go with somebody else. They're never going to get them people back. So all this time that they spent, and now I'm not saying it can't go back up, but all this time that they spent earning the trust of all these different people, I've worked construction most of my life. imagine when somebody gets their eye taken out. What's the first thing they do? They bring up a new rule in safety. Same thing with CrowdStrike.
Yep.
The biggest issue with CrowdStrike, oh, why is our defibrillators not working? Oh, because we're having an error message. Now, I'm just using this as a random example, because we're getting an error message because CrowdStrike decided to update their servers. Well, what do we need to do to fix this? Because it's not CrowdStrike's fault, it's the manager's issue. Well, this is what we did to change it. We switched from CrowdStrike to Inuit or whatever. I said Inuit, Intuit. What the hell? I'm telling you, my tongue is getting swollen.
Intuit.
Yeah, get to it, Intuit.
I got your back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so what else? Do we have any more earnings? How many more earnings we got on that list?
Just one more. Let's take a look at VIK, Viking.
VIK? Oh, okay, so this is the health, right? Yeah, consumer services.
Yeah.
No, this is not.
Yes.
This is hotel.
No, this is. Yes.
This is
Cruises. Let's go on a cruise.
Yeah, let's go on a cruise. I actually just recently went on a cruise, and we went to a lot of different places. Now, I had not heard of Viking. Have you heard of Viking before?
I haven't heard of Viking.
I'm gonna look up.
But
Viking.
it is it's more of a it's more of like a traveling.
Let's read about it. Viking Holdings Ltd. provides destinations focused for curious travelers. The firm's journey includes a shore excursion in every port and an onboard and onshore enrichment program that provides deep immersion in the destination throughout performances of music and art, cooking demonstrations, informative port talks, and carefully selected guest lectures. It provides travel experiences through river vessels, ocean ships, expedition ships, and time-chartered river ships. The company was founded by Torstein Hagen in 1997 and is headquartered in Hamilton, Bermuda, Bahamas.
Bermuda, the triangle.
He's dead center of the triangle. He is, and he's wearing a tin hat as well. So this looks like a newer IPO. This is a newer IPO, guys, and they are doing very well. Not a lot of the times, at least in the last few years, have I seen a lot of newer IPOs do so well initially. A lot of times they've been coming out and they have just been way overvalued, and they'll sell off for quite some time before coming back up. These guys actually came out and they started heading up, and now they had a dip, just like a lot of the other stocks, but they're doing well, still holding out and above. Their average daily range is over 4%, so that's nice, and they don't have a relative strength index because they have not been out for very long, but they are above all their moving averages, and all their moving averages are on the rise. So that's a really good sign for this stock, so keep VIK on your watch list. It comes out...
So let's go back and look at that dip.
Yeah, which dip? In the S&P
that
500?
dip is... No, on VIK.
Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, so
this close one looks kind of like that same V that we saw.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times when you get the S&P 500, you'll notice that a lot of your stocks, whether they're leading stocks or they're laggards. I shouldn't say leading stocks, but a lot of the stocks that are relatively strong, you will see the same characteristics because the overall market usually justifies the way the rest of the stocks move. Jimmy Bright says the RS rating on VIK is 92. I appreciate you letting me know. I don't see it on my screen right now. Oh, there it is. I just had to do one of these numbers. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, so we have a relative strength rating of 92, so that's really, really good for the stock. So if we can see a cup here and maybe a handle, I think this would be really great. I'm actually going to mark the highs here so that way I can get an alert when that happens. So this might be a nice stock for your watch list here, VIK. Let's see. And I think that's all. That's all for our earnings, guys. So now we can get into you know what. You know what. Let me do the drum roll. Ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I got a better one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, yeah. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are pumped. Because I am. We got a watch list for you this week.
Y'all ready for this?
Okay. Now that we've alerted the FBI,
open up!
they know for an absolute fact. And Jolene, she's our insider now, so she's going to try and keep them out the door while I get through this. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a watch list for you. We have a watch list. I have a watch list, and then I have a very, very tight-knit watch list, one that I'm really, really looking at, okay? So I have some on here that have a lower relative strength rating, but I like the look of them, so we can go over it. And then, of course, we have a very tight-niched. Dan Bob says it's loud. Yeah, I know it's loud. I'm getting everybody pumped. If you're away from your computer or you're away from your phone, now you've been alerted. I don't know how to turn that down yet, Dan Bob, to be quite honest with you. Maybe I can turn it down before I do it the next time. But wake up, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the watch list. First thing we have on here is AVXL. The lower RS rating makes me want to keep away from this, but I do like the big push up on volume and a pullback as it held out with the earnings. If it can keep riding on this 21-day moving average and show true strength, the breakthrough here, I would like to be alerted for volume. We have QTTB. This has an RS rating of 98 and meets our criteria on our average daily range percentage of 1168. This is a very fast mover, a make or break your account. If you look at this beautiful, beautiful trend break right here, I would love to see it on volume. That is QTTB. And before we move on, I only have one thing. I don't think I've done this enough, ladies and gentlemen. Please take a look at my screen. Make sure you click this live button. If you haven't hit this live button yet, it's going to bring you right up to the time that we are talking right here, right now. Make sure you smash that like button for me. That's one of the only things I ask. There is two other things, but it's never your money. It's only your time and your love and dedication to this channel. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I know there are a few people out there, and I spoke to one over the weekend. I appreciate you. I love you. You guys have a heart of gold. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It does us a huge favor bringing you content and viewers that watch the same type of stuff as you do. We also have a vote on the poll. We got 32% say they swing trade only, 5-day trade only, and 63% do a 2 of a blend of the above, whether it's investing, swing trading, or day trading. You can go ahead and click on the vote there. Of course, if you scroll down, you'll see my link tree. If you go to the link tree, you'll find YouTube, Discord, and of course, TradingView. If you want to use this amazing charting platform that you see behind us that we recommend everybody use, you can use it for absolutely free. Use my affiliate link because maybe in the future, you'll get serious about charting. You'll want to upgrade to the Essential plan. It's only $15 a month, but if you use my link, you'll get a month free, then you'll get a month on me. So click that and it helps me out a ton, guys. It really does. It's the only way I actually get paid for doing all of this work and all of this content is through TradingView, our affiliate link. So go ahead and do that if you're feeling extra fancy today. Now, right back to the show. Jolene, are you still awake or are you taking a nap?
I'm awake and waiting. I'm waiting for the watch list.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Fine, here it comes. So we went over QTTB. Now we're going over CDMO. Now I like CDMO because it had this beautiful cup, but this is a more of a V-shaped cup here, and it's starting to ride this high. I just have it on a watch list. I'm not actually going to play this because it already really broke out in my eyes. It didn't really do it on so much volume, but I like the RS and I like the ADR. So you might want to keep an eye on CDMO. It is a biotech, so it comes with inherent risk, but I like the cup, I like the handle, and it already broke out. This is the beautiful cup with handle that I like to trade, but we were not in a market where I was risk on. So I wanted to bring this up at least as an example so we could use it. It was on a previous watch list last week. I wanted to show you guys this, but I did not take it because I was not risk on yet. So here's the cup, here's the handle, and here's another basing breakout if you want to just take a little peeky gander there, okay? Next up, FTDR, and I'm going to kind of float through these guys because we're getting a little pressed for time here. FTDR, not so much. Let me just bring up the best ones here. So if we scroll through, We have INSM. You can see it's riding this 21-day moving average. I don't like these two breakdowns, but you could consider these shakeout days. If it wants to break out above this area, it might be worth looking. We have LUMN. Now, this is a really good one that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, this is a small cap stock. This is a make or break, rip your damn face off, so you need to be careful. Let me show you what I have planned for this stock, okay? Let's give this a little bit more time, okay? And I like drawing these out for you guys. My favorite thing is for it to go something like this, okay? And it's starting to do that. Now, we can even wait for the 21 to catch up, but I think if it gets nice and tight right here, we're gonna have a beautiful trade on LUMN, but this needs some more time. It's not setting up picture perfect here. It needs to still touch, come down, touch one more time. So we have 3 new higher lows and 3 new lower highs, okay? So we'll have 1, 2, and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3, like we're doing some dance waltz, okay? So LUMN is on my watch list. I really need to wait for this thing to set up though, okay? This is one of my mains. We have MDIA. This thing broke down, so this can actually get taken off my watch list. Let me just bring this back out. Yeah, so this had a nice breakthrough right here, but I was risk off during this time. So we're gonna take that off the watch list. We do have MMMM. That was brought up by one of our YouTubers in here. I don't remember who it was, but it is starting to get really tight here. Now, it is a slow mover. Its average daily range is only 3%, but I really like the RS rating, and I love this setup. Big push up on volume, a pullback. It gets really tight on this 10-day moving average. This thing just looks like it's ready to explode, and it's really hard for me to want to be patient for something of a higher daily range here. If this thing can really get to moving, I would love to see it take off and on volume. So if it can do that, I want to be a part of it. You know, I really would like to be a part of it. So let me actually bring this up on my broker. I want to make sure that I have this on here. I might actually take this. I might take a small stab and then sell it if I see something better. But I'm just going to put my alert right here at 127.05 or 127.33. And once it gets above that, I'm going to wait for the break of 128.50. And if it does that, then I'm going to be ready for it to rip tater chip. Let's go ahead and take a look at NCMI. This thing was another cup and handle. This was on last week's watch list. I just wanted to give you guys something to watch, but I was still risk off. This thing is working out, so it's nice to see, but not in my risk parameters. We have OMCL. This thing looks really, really nice. I think it needs to form a base here. That's my biggest issue, though. A lot of these things have taken off, but now we need to wait for them to form something. PLTR is just on my watch list. I see a lot of you guys talking about this. You have been for quite some time. Here was your cup. Here was your handle. Earnings had like this huge sell-off, but then it got bought right back up, which shows strength. And now it's just continuing higher. If this can show at some point in time, maybe a 3 or 4 day pullback on a trend following a 10 or 21 day moving average, I'm waiting for this to set up a trend or base break. So I really would like to see that, okay? So it's just on my watch list. It's not on my playlist. Keep that in mind, guys. QTWO, this thing's off my watch list now. We have RVLV. Nope, that's off my watch list. Okay, so SERV. Look at SERV, guys. Now, this is another make or break your count. 31% mover. It's following the 21-day moving average with an RS rating of 99%. If this thing continues to get tight, I don't want to see this fall down any further than this. So that way we can call this its new higher low and this its third new higher low. And then this 1, 2, and 3 new higher lows. 3 lower highs, 3 higher lows. So that way we can get it to break out right in this area. Now I will mention this. When I see these areas right here, a lot of the times these areas have been failing, but they haven't been getting me in. That's the great thing. Like KOS, it traded sideways and got really, really tight. This isn't like that because it's filled, but it's had this long drawn out fail as it slowly comes back down. And if it can not fail, if it can continue back up and start ripping to the north side, I want to be a part of that, okay? Where I would get in here and then I would exit probably half of my shares at 118% after it cleared this high of day at 24 and then let the rest ride, okay? With that being said, that's a long shot, but look where it came from, guys. This has an opportunity to get back up there. And if we look at SERV on this, so we can see the actual daily volume, as Jolene, I've actually showed you how I do this. If we look where we are sitting right here, guys, and we come back here and we look, this is actually sitting on a lot of volume. There's a lot of volume in this area. So if it wants to show support, it would not be surprising if it holds in this area and starts to curl to the north side. Now, the two issues that I see it having, the main one being this right here. There's a lot of bag holders right here at the $19 to $20 area. Okay, so if we do get this thing and it starts to turn around here, my best bet is to take a chunk off at this $16.50 and a chunk off at this $20 area. If not, and I have the guts to hold, it'll probably come back, hang around somewhere around $16.50 and start to head higher. Now, these aren't buy or sell recommendations. I have no idea what the hell it's going to do, but most of the time when you look at these small caps, you are going to lose money. So make sure that you understand risk management and know that this is your trade, not mine, okay? All right, let me bring up a couple more here. We have AIOT. Now, this isn't something that I usually would have on my watch list, but I like this tight area here. It's made this really, really long daily trend here, okay? So if like you look at this, you can see something like this, and then it's created a trend inside of the trend. Now, if I brought this up on Smash or Pass, I would pass on this, okay? But if we get a big, I'm serious, I gotta be serious, you know what I mean? But if we get a big bout of volume here, I could see it breaking through this and possibly breaking through this and having a nice run with an average daily range of 6% and an RS rating of 97. Tomorrow is its earnings. Okay, so it's just something I'm going to keep an eye on, because if it breaks through all this and then makes new blue sky highs, I would like to be a part of that. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not, earnings ruins everything for me, So of course, I have Kava on here. Again, earnings ruins everything. I can't really take this because earnings is coming soon. We have CSTL, which I think needs a few more days, but it is setting up. If we zoom out here, you can see, let me bring this out. You can see this thing's setting up really nice after a very, very long basing. Now it's getting tight right here with a rising 10-day moving average. After earnings, it moved up higher on volume, pulled back with this volume contraction pattern here. If this thing wants to take off and get some legs and eggs, baby, we'll be eating dinner tonight. We also have DYN, guys. I like DYN. I made a ton of money back in January. I brought this up a few different times. You can see this is exactly what I like in a stock. Big push up, a pullback. It fills in all this gap, and then it breaks out. I made a ton of money here. There was a few other areas on DYN here. Here, I think I added, and I think that was it on DYN. I may have made... No, that was it. Just back here in January, I believe it was. Yeah, January is where I made a lot of my money. This here, it had a big gap up and it actually halted, this big boat of a stock. So $4.56 billion. I guess you can't call it a boat anymore. We're up to the $1 trillion market caps. But DYN is on my watch list. I do like this breakout area. It broke out, then pulled back and retested that 10-day moving average. So if it can continue to run, this moves at 5.71% and is in the therapeutics, which is a hot stock. We have EVGO. EVGO is setting up nicely. MGOL. Now, guys, I highly recommend anything above that 10% ADR or anything above 6%, really, you need to be really, really careful with. You need to be very, very careful with, because if you don't understand risk management, you're really going to hurt. Smaid, what's going on, brother? He said he wants to check Dell if we don't mind. We'll absolutely check Dell for sure. I just want to give you guys, we got about 5 more to go through, and then Jolene, if you remind me, we'll do Dell because I don't want to forget. OSTX, guys. OSTX, it's a newer IPO. Let me just show this to you. Look at this. Newer IPO. Look at this trend. I love this. And it's in the therapeutics. So with that being said, actually, this says commercial services. It just says OS therapies. So I assumed it was in therapeutics. But it's commercial services, so we'll see what happens with this. It doesn't have an RS rating yet just because it's a very new IPO, but newer IPOs can do very, very well. Smaid, thank you for asking, man. I'm doing really well. I hope you're doing well yourself. I appreciate your insights on the Middle East tensions as well. But I'm doing really good. I would probably be doing better if Jolene wasn't bugging me, but I'm doing all right. Did I wake you up, Jolene? Sorry if I woke you. Oh, man, I love it. I love having you on. We're going to have you on again soon, Jolene. We have RYAM, guys. I really like this. Big push up on volume, a pullback. Now it's getting tight. I like this area at 755. If it can break out over it on volume, I think it has an ability to continue. But I'd like to see the 10 and 21-day moving average really catch up here. We also have WGS. This has a very long base and the shakeout. Same V-shaped bottom as Jolene brought up earlier that we're seeing amongst a lot of your leading stocks. RS rating of 99, average daily range at 8.9%. If you don't have WGS on your watch list, you need to put it on your watch list. WINT,
That's my pick.
WGS?
That's
like
the one I'm watching.
Because of the double base?
Yes, I'm watching that one because of my friend, Mr. O'Neill.
Yes. You've been studying the double
He talked
base,
about
right?
these base on base breaking out right when we're entering that stage 2.
Oh my gosh. If you can remind me, you don't have to do it now, but off air, let me know what page that's in. I've been reading a lot about
It is page
tops.
136.
Come on, you know it right off the top? 136.
No, I have it marked.
What is a base on top of a base? During later stages of a bear market, a seemingly negative condition flags what may be aggressive new leadership in the new bull phase. I call this unusual case a base on top of base. What happens is that a powerful stock breaks out of its base and advances, but is unable to increase a normal 20 to 30% because the general market begins another leg down. The stock therefore pulls back in price and builds a second back and forth price consolidation area on top of its previous base, while the general market average keeps making new lows. While the bearish phase in the overall market ends, as it does at some point, the stock opts to be one of the first to emerge a new high en route to a huge gain. Now that's very, very interesting to see, as we have had multiple pullbacks in the overall market. And you can see that this did form a base in one of the pullbacks, and here is the other base that it formed in that market pullback. So that is very, very cool. I don't think it meets all the exact criteria, but the psychology is pretty close to the same. So I really like that you brought that up. And there's more in here on page 136 if you guys want to look it up in your How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill. So Jolene, you're a damn genius, girl. You're a damn genius. And here I thought you were licking windows.
No, I'm learning, so I have to study all of this stuff, to catch up a little bit.
You, I love it. That what you just did there just blew my mind. I'm so happy that you had that. Just right. I mean, you got me fired up now, girl. You got me fired up. So awesome job. Awesome job. All right. So next up is GTEC. This is for me, not for you, on the 5-minute. Now, I don't like bringing up the 5-minute because this introduces day trades into your criteria. I don't want you to introduce day trades. 99% of people are going to lose in day trades. And Dan Bob, you are correct. Yes, you're very right. She is very smart. So GTEC, that 5-minute, guys, I'm looking at this for me. Okay, this is for me to keep an eye on, not for you. I'm looking for 3 new higher lows, 3 new lower highs for a breakout, okay? And then we have LUMO. This is just something that I'm keeping an eye on for myself. There is no volume in this, but it's just something I'm doing a little case study on, okay? So those are your stocks on my watch list. Remember that we have a beautiful, beautiful market that we are in right now, and I suggest everybody keeping a very close eye onto what's going on in the overall market. I think we're gonna have quite a lull throughout the week, but Tuesday, I believe I brought up the initial jobless claims, is on, Thursday, and then thereafter on Friday, Fed Chair Powell will speak, and he'll probably give us a little bit more insight on those rate cuts. Now, we have one last thing that we need to go over, right? You weren't going to let me forget, were you?
Dell.
All right.
Dell.
All right, so now I can already tell you without even looking at this, Dell has been beat down. I was talking about Dell because we were on this rising rampage heading to the north side, and it started to get really tight here. And I even talked about if Dell doesn't break up to the north side that I was going to take it for a short, and I did not. I actually missed this. I don't think I even had an alert on it, but man, this is what I love about these trend break strategies. If it's not a break to the north side, you can almost sell it and make the same amount of money because it needs to go one way or the other. This is how price action works. You get this big excerpt in price discovery, a pullback, and then it starts to get tight because the buyers are exhausted, the sellers are exhausted, and then somebody ends up winning. The sellers won this game, and it continued to fail. Now, after it had this huge pullback here, it's popping back up above its 21-day moving average. This, to me, if you want to invest in Dell, I think it needs some more time. I always like to see 3 new higher lows get set in. Now, this is the way I think. This isn't our buy or sell recommendation, but when I look at Dell and it's beat down like this, I need the stock to prove itself to me. So here is its low, okay? It has not shown a new higher low, meaning what I would want to see in this stock personally is I would want to, let me get out my paintbrush here. There it is. I would want to see it do something like this. Come up, make a new higher low here, maybe trade sideways, come up, make a new higher low here, and then I might be looking at taking some action. But you have a low, then you have a new higher low, and then you have a third new higher low. It needs to prove itself to me that we have some type of basing structure below it that we can count on. So here it just fell. It just fell, right? And it fell like a rock. And now it's trying to get above its moving averages, but it's still below its 50-day moving average. All right. And I don't want to be in any stocks that are below its 50-day moving average. I want to see all their moving averages in line and heading up because I'm a momentum trader. I want to trade that momentum. So does anybody else have any other stocks out there that they want me to take a look at? Anything at all? Jolene, do you have any stocks that we need to take a look at today?
No, I'm good. I think you covered them. All
right. I've covered every stock in the market today. Every single stock. So I hope everybody, I'm only kidding. I've covered all 3,000 stocks.
Just the interesting ones. That's the only ones we're interested in.
That's right. Okay, so guys, just before we end this, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. This is called self-preservation. We also, excuse me,
AMD.
Right in your, yeah, we'll look at AMD in just a second. I ended the poll. I asked you guys, how do you trade? 54% of you say you do a blend of 2 or more, whether it's swing trading or day trading or swing trading and investing or all 3. Most of us do a blend of trading out there. Nobody in here just invests, which is very, very cool to know. So it's very, very cool for all of you to be here with me. We all kind of do the same things. Smash that like, and of course, consider hitting that subscribe button for me, guys. We put in a lot of work, a lot of time, and we have an awesome community. Everybody here has a heart of gold, and it feels a lot more like family. Speaking of family, sweet Jolene, I hope your mother-in-law is doing well. We did a little prayer for her over dinner the other day, and you know, we all know that prayer does help, so I do hope that everything's going very well with her. Do you have an update on her for us?
You know, they just don't build them like they used to. 92 years old, and she's doing pretty well. So I'm happy to say she is doing well, and I just can't believe her spunk.
Well, it's really, really good to hear that. And I have to agree with you. I tell you, my grandpa, he is still out there getting it. I mean, he is still every single day. He gets up, he gets out there, he gets it, and it's good. And I gotta agree. I have to agree. They don't make them like they used to. You hear a lot of people whining and complaining, and I know your mother-in-law went through a lot, and she is still kicking butt and taking names. So I'm really happy that she did. Right before we take off here, guys, AMD. We'll take a look at AMD now, guys. I always like to be in a leader, not a lagger. That's another William O'Neill's teaching. If you want to be in a AMD or a TSM or an SMCI. All of these stocks, if you look at them, they're below a 200-day moving average. So if you're going to get into one of these, why not be a part of the leader, NVDA, above all of its moving averages? I'm waiting for a setup on NVDA before I can get back into it. This is not just a leader, but it's a relative strong stock, and its average daily range is 6.44. So if you look at AMD, sir, it is a very weak stock, meaning if the market starts to turn back down at any time, it's less likely to hold up than NVIDIA. So you have more inherent risk to the sell side than NVIDIA. So as much as I do believe in AMD doing well, it is a very profitable stock fundamentally and technically. It might work out for you in the long run since it's on a long-term uptrend, but I believe in getting in the leader. So I like AMD, but it's below a 200-day moving average. It's not something that I really want to look at, but if we want to talk about a stock, NVDA would be your leader above all moving averages, and if it can create a V-shaped bottom with a handle or even a trend, maybe it pulls back down to its 10 and 21-day moving average, and then we can take a break on that. I would like to look at that. Ronnie Little says, thank you, David, for everything that you do. Dude, I appreciate that, man. I really do, man. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. MREO. It's an extended on the daily, but X channel in 5 minutes, and there's a resistance level left there for upside. So Predator brought this up. So this is looking pretty cool. What I like about this is we can see a very clear top here. A very, very clear top. So we'll just mark this out. And you know what, Predator? I'm going to put this, because we got new higher lows on the bottoms here, and we have this clear basing top. So if this thing can get above 450, I think it's got plenty of room to grow. So I like this stock. I'm going to bring that. I'm going to put this on my, let me put this on here. MREO. Let's put MREO on here. I like it. Yeah, nice call out on this one here. MREO. I'm going to put this an alert right here. You know what? Personally, what I would like to see on MREO for best case scenario, not saying that this is what's going to happen, but best case scenario, it smacks into this area again, it pulls back, and it creates another new higher low, and it gets really, really tight here with the moving averages catching up. As you already stated, Predator, very good eye. It is extended, but if we can get this thing to kind of, the moving average to kind of come up here and push this into that resistance of 450 before it breaks out, that would be best case scenario. So I'd like to see that. So good eye on that, brother. Okay, we're pressing into 1020. We're going to call this quits, guys. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody out there. Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator alive. Thank you so much for helping put this together, for bringing up that we need to get the sweet, sweet Jolene on here. And that's the next thing I want to say. Jolene, thank you so much for making this so much more fun. You were very enjoyable, and you sure are a firecracker. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the whole group. Dan Bob is amazing, but the whole group is just so great. If you're not on Discord, you should join Discord. It's so much fun.
Jolene, you're a salesman. How much am I paying you for this right now?
You're paying me nothing. You're teaching me. You got to teach me.
You are so awesome. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for everybody else. I'm going to hit you with the outro. And then, of course, I will be in here to say my goodbyes to each and every one of you. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have an awesome, awesome night. Peace, guys.